Don't like the lighting, but that's it. Hello, all you beautiful people, all my warriors. How are you doing today? In this video, the highly anticipated Q&A. So I said that I would do a Q&A once I reached 250 subscribers, and I reached 250 subscribers and I have surpassed that already. I am so grateful for every single one of you out there. You don't even know. So cheers to all of you. We are going to have dessert and ask some questions. So for supper, dinner, whatever, all I had was a loaded salad. It was a hefty salad. Getting ready to do a challenge tomorrow, so I wanted to eat on the light side, which I do normally eat pretty light every day. I had a salad. So yeah, and then I made this cheesecake for the Hubs' birthday. This was a request to make him a cheesecake. And the cheesecake was my flavor, but he loves the peanut butter chocolate cheesecake. So that's what I made him. Okay. How is everyone today? The heat kind of ramped up again. This is ramping up again this week. Humidity isn't too bad. But I'm ready for fall, you guys. Decorating. I just love fall. And of course, I have water to drink. Let's get this Q&A started. I have 14 questions to go through. And thank you to every single one of you who asked these questions. I'm super stoked. So let's go. Number 1, first question. Hair flip, let's go. What is your favorite food? My favorite food, because I am such a foodie, there really isn't any one food that is my favorite. I know that's kind of crazy, right? I have so many favorites that I honestly can't pick one that is my, ultimate favorite food. But right now, I guess I go through phases. So before, what I am currently really liking, my favorite was Mexican food. And right now I'm huge into Asian food, whether it be, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, it doesn't matter. Any kind of Asian food I am super into right now. And the fusions is where I'm at with a lot of the favorites. I love to fuse food. And if you haven't seen any of those of mine, we started a tradition 2 years ago where we write 2 countries on pieces of paper, we cut them, we throw them in a hat, whatever, and then we pick 2 different countries that we fuse together. And we make that a tradition every New Year's Day. So I can't remember what last year was a Cuban. It was a Chinese Cuban or a Japanese Cuban. I think it was a Chinese Cuban. So if you haven't seen those videos, now I've kind of upped my game with the editing skills and recording and stuff like that. So the first 2 years weren't that great. So, but it's out there and you can still see what I've done. I might just put that, either put a clip of it in here to show you guys my fusion foods thus far. Favorite type of music. Okay, maybe I should skip this one for a second. Okay, we'll skip that one. Where did I meet the Hubs? I met the Hubs where I used to work. We worked at the same place together. Favorite actor or actress and actress? I don't have one. No, I take that back. In this day and age, I don't have one. But from back in the day, I would have to say Lucille Ball and Judy Garland. Actors, none. I mean, I really don't have a favorite actor. I don't watch movies. I really don't. So, but those were the two that I really, because The Wizard of Oz is probably one of my most favorite movies, all-time movies ever. My first car. Okay. Now, hear me out on this one. This may sound like I was a spoiled, rotten brat. And maybe I was. I was am one of 3 kids. But my other 2 siblings are so much older than I am that I was growing up, I was basically the only child, right? And especially when I was old enough to drive, I was definitely treated like an only child. Also, my dad worked for Ford Motor Company for 40 plus years, retired from there. My first car was a Ford Ranger Splash. It was a bluish color. It was like a light blue, not light blue. Any tattoos? I most certainly do. I have one right here. I don't know if you can see it. Probably can't. But that is a dragonfly. And the body of it is an Italian horn. For my mother and her side of the family. Anyway, then I actually have 4 tattoos. So I have this one. My dad has a matching one. I have this one. I have this one. And then I have one on my foot, which is a tribal clef. So yeah, just 4 for now. But would really love to have more. So, goals for my channel. I would say having fun. I don't have any long-term goals for the channel. All I want to do is have fun and share my love of cooking and baking with however many people want to share the journey with me. Yeah, I mean, goals. I mean, of course it would be nice to, reach monetization hours and subscribers, but I'm not going to stress out over it. I mean, would I love to? Hell yeah, I would love to reach those. So, I mean, I guess those are goals. But to just keep the channel exciting and doing these challenges lately has sure been fun, and I think has brought a new excitement and something new to the channel. So, I mean, by the end of this year, I wanted to reach 500 subscribers. I currently have 273. I do not think that I'm going to reach that goal. But I mean, I tried. I think the key to reaching goals is especially subscriber goals and stuff like that, is to just Put yourself out there, make it interesting, and go live. Live streaming is what I've seen in my own experience with the channel and watching the subscribers. When you go live, a lot more people subscribe when you go live. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but that leads me into the question of what is the hardest thing that I've found to do for the channel. And for me, I think the hardest thing that I've had to do for the channel is to be consistent, for one. In the beginning, it was to show my face. For 2. 3, I know it says the hardest thing. There's been several hard things that I have had to, or that I've experienced with having a YouTube channel. So, being consistent, going live is another one. Showing my face. That's, in the beginning, I was like, there's no way. I'm the type of person that really dislikes confrontation, whether it be in person, online, whatever. So for me to show my face and go live and have to deal with like the trolls and negative comments is not something that I was looking forward to dealing with or experiencing, because I mean, I've been there before with, experiencing bullying, negative comments, this, that, and the other. So yeah, I think that those are probably the hardest things that I've found that I've had to do for the channel, is just to open up, not care what other people say, and just know that the negative people, they're not happy with themselves or with the life that they're living. So you just let it roll off your back and don't worry about it. And I've gotten out of my shell a lot more. But yeah, it's getting easier. I think when you first start, in certain instances, it's not for some people, but for some it is. It is difficult, to break out of the shell that you might be in and deal with the negativities and just overcoming a lot of insecurities and challenges and just stuff like that. So, yeah, which leads me into, am I going to do more challenges? So currently, I have a taco challenge, a fried chicken challenge, and all fruit or veggie only for 24 hours. The no napkin. I guess that isn't fair that we're doing this with this, because it's not really all that messy, so yeah, I have 4. And if you have not seen my other 2 challenges, go check them out. They were fun. There are some funny parts. I can't deny that. Yeah, I just had a lot of fun with the challenges. And if I'm challenged, if I can do the challenges that I'm tagged in, then heck yeah, I'm all for it. Am I competitive? Most definitely, yes. Will I do whatever I can to not fail? Yes, I most certainly will. And if you go back and watch my first 2 challenges, you'll find out. The most exciting place that I've traveled. I have not traveled so many places. Um, but I would. I mean, I love adventure and I love every new place that I go to, right? So I would have to say I loved Colorado. For me, it was exciting, beyond exciting to see the mountains down over there for the first time. It's probably one of the most beautiful scenery, um, just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Especially the last time that we traveled there. Um, the sun was setting, and the sun was setting over the mountains, and it's just not something that you can explain, right? Like, just gorgeous, just absolutely beautiful. I've traveled to New Orleans, Slidell, Mississippi. I've been to Arkansas. I went to the coast. I love new places, so any new place is exciting to me. You know, to each his own. It might not be exciting for you, but that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, because any new place is exciting to me. Favorite holiday and why? My favorite holiday would probably have to be Thanksgiving. I mean, I really love Halloween, but from a cooking standpoint, I absolutely adore and love fall and Thanksgiving. Um, why? Because of all the yummy goodnesses that Thanksgiving dinner has to offer or bring to the table, you know? Um, yeah, I mean, whenever there's a get together, whenever there's food, I feel like there's good times, and a lot of times there's also family. So that's one of probably the best reason that I can give you. Um, so yeah, and I guess which is leading me into this question. Yeah, what leads me into this question is where and when did I figure out that I loved cooking? So, I was at home in my mother's kitchen with her when I was super little. I used to stand on a kitchen chair in the kitchen and help her. I would open up cans or just help her, whatever, in the kitchen. And this was before we moved, so I was roughly 4 or 5 years old when I started helping my mom. But and then we moved when I was 9. So I would say that I figured out pretty young that I love to cook. When I was with, still probably, I don't know, 8, 9 years old. But it really wasn't until I got out on my own that the love grew even more. And I think I've told this story kind of in another video, but I grew up in a household where my mother didn't flavor the food that we ate too much. She used, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then my dad would literally douse his food with pepper at the table, and then he would have a sneezing fit because he would put so much on. And that's where my love of pepper came from. But when I got out on my own when I was 19, and it was then in fact that I started cooking, and I absolutely loved it. And that's when I told myself that I was going to season my food and I was going to do it my way. So, yeah, sometimes you'll see in my videos where I say such and such item my way, or I'll hashtag my way. I have a lot of my mother's recipes, and I'm basically just holding on to them for, the memories, the keepsake, to say that I have them. My mother's still around, but I guess that's another story, or a story for a different time. But yeah, so I got it on my own. I don't use recipes, most generally, unless it's for baking. Or sometimes I'll just look at a recipe and be like, oh, I can make that. Because my palate is pretty refined, and I got it pretty easily as far as like knowing what seasonings and spices go with what meats, or yeah, which leads me to, I've never taken any culinary classes or schooling or anything like that. It's just one of those things that I uh, acquired naturally, I guess, and it's always been a passion. Probably, I would say, for the last 27 years at least. So then, question number 13 or 12. 12, because I had a repeat question. What is something that interests me that I would like to learn more about? Oh gosh. I've wanted to do this, and this actually ties into my last question, which is so crazy. Something that interests me and I'd like to learn more about is learning how to play the electric violin. Yeah. So when I was in high school, we went to the fair, and there was a band playing, I guess, and there was a woman playing the electric violin. The sound of that and the way she was playing it just hit me so deep that it put me to tears, or put me in tears. I don't know. I've tried to play a guitar and I cannot. I've literally playing music when I was 4 years old. I had a tiny little organ that I started playing by ear. I played a Christmas song in church when I was 4 years old by ear. I played it at the age of 7. I was gifted a piano from my parents, and they started me on piano lessons. And I took piano lessons until I was 14. I played in our school band for 2 or 3 years, probably 2 years. I played the clarinet, and I was allergic to the reeds. So, we switched reeds. We switched from the regular to the black bamboo reeds for the clarinet. And I was broke out. Under my bottom lip was broke out. And, when you're in school, especially high school, how embarrassing, right? So I stopped playing clarinet and got out of the band altogether, which was a huge regret of mine. So yeah, I think learning how to play any stringed instrument, but I would have to say for sure the electric violin. Although my hands, I'm pretty sure I have arthritis in my hands. I've had carpal tunnel in both my hands. Doctor said I am very heavy-handed, which I am. Everything I do, I just strong arm it. And, you know, my hands, that's another reason why my fingers are so chunky, is because they're constantly swollen, and they have been since I've had carpal tunnel surgery, and they said that would happen. And also, if I have arthritis, which I'm pretty sure I do, so, but I'm pretty sure with my hands being the way they are, my knife skills, I was a butcher's assistant. I mean, everything I've done in my life, I was a CNA, everything I've done in my life, I've had to use my hands, and I've had to be strong. My hands have had workouts. You know what I mean? Playing piano, that's not... When I get into music, when I play music or listen to it, I'm sorry. I don't think anybody, unless they feel like I do, of course, I don't think a lot of the people in my life really understand to the full extent of what music really does for me and has done for me. I will put a picture, I will insert a picture again, and I've posted this before of myself, but music has been a part of my life since I was probably at least 3 years old. So, my last question, favorite type of music? I don't have one. I really don't have one. If I would be able to handle playing a stringed instrument, I would love to just know or be able to play just one song. That's all. Maybe in another video I will talk more in depth about music and how it's affected my literal whole entire life. I'm 47 years old, and I would say for 44 of those years, it's been a part of my life for 44 years, and for good reason. Okay, so I'm sorry for whoever asked the question of my favorite type of music. I think that may have been Wildcat. I don't have a favorite type of music. I can listen to Andrea Bocelli and other tenors and other classical, and then I can listen to Iron Maiden. I can listen to Celine Dion, and then turn around and listen to Pink, or country music. I mean, music is just... We'll go into that on another video. This is growing pretty long, and I also have to edit this video, so yeah. I think that is every single question that was asked of me. If I forgot any of them, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for rambling. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I like to ramble, or I do ramble, especially when I get in front of a camera, because it's hard to sit here and talk when you're alone. You know, I mean, other YouTubers will understand that, but if you're just a subscriber that doesn't, you know, make videos for your channel, you really wouldn't understand unless you did it. I went from being able to talk on a video to now talking too much, rambling. Oh, and one more thing. Let me just say, when I cook or bake, I cannot do it without listening to music. Or I could, but it would be very strange for me to do that. Growing up, my mom did the same thing. That's where I got it from. Music and cooking are passions of mine. If you can't tell. So yeah, if I could let go of listening to music while I cooked, then I probably would do some talking on the videos, not having to do voiceovers or not having to put music in on my videos to cover up the other music that I was listening to. Mukbangs, those are a little difficult to try to come up with subjects. That's another thing I found hard to do for the channel. When I do mukbangs, well, with the hubs too, because the hubs just likes to eat. So to actually sit down and like have a full-on conversation when he's trying to enjoy his food isn't really fair for him. So I'm gonna try not to rope him in to do mukbangs too often. I mean, he said he's okay with it, but usually he's just ready to eat and not talk. So yeah, that's difficult to find a subject or something to talk about while I'm recording, while I'm eating, or yeah. So let me go back to the goals thing. See what I mean? I just ramble, and then as I'm talking I think of other things, and I do that a lot too because my mind's all a mess. And it is what it is, but whatever. I guess another goal for me would be, I mean, I just want to succeed. I want to succeed, and I want people to watch me. I want my watch hours to climb, to keep climbing. Maybe there'll be more Q&As in the future. But until then, a not so short video to learn some things about me, learn more about what makes me tick. And I hope my answers explained or answered the questions that you all had for me, and maybe another Q&A at 750 or 1,000 subscribers. I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah. So if you've made it this far, thank you so very much for watching. Thank you for the questions. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. All 273 of you, thank you. Thank you for sticking around when I haven't been too consistent. Just thank you. Thank you for everything. This is the conclusion of my first Q&A. Thank you again, and stay safe, be kind, love with everything you have, and I will see you in the next video.